Do you have a relatively small inventory? Do you want to start making some money flipping items, or do you want to grow your inventory without having to pay a fortune? Well then, this video is for you. Today I will show you why GamerPay is the best way to start flipping items and to grow your inventory reliably. Well, let's start with the basics. How do you make money flipping CSGO items at all? Well, to put it simply, you buy items for cheaper than they are worth and then you sell them for approximately the amount that they are worth, or maybe a bit more. The price difference is gonna be the profit you make minus the amount of fees that any site would take, and the money you have left over, that would be your profit. To really get good at this, you will need a lot of practice, so if you're new, I would suggest starting out with a small amount that you can use as a starting capital as you will. This doesn't need to be much at all, but if you start with more money, it can also grow more quickly. But why is this possible at all? Doesn't a site having fees mean that any and all profits go to the site instead of you? Well, no. Flipping items has been a thing long before these sites came along. People always did this on Steam in the past, and Steam has 15% fees. That means doing it on GamerPay gives you a very low fees that allow you to flip items way more efficiently. This works since people often want to just sell an item quickly and you take advantage of that. Let's start off with how to use GamerPay so you can get settled in. Go to the link in the description and make an account. If you already have one, simply log in. I also have a deal going on with GamerPay where you can get 10 euros for free by joining via my link if you buy or sell 35 euros or more. That means if you just start flipping items to make a profit, you will get 10 euros of free balance in no time, which means you make even more profit. Now that we are in GamerPay, let's see how the site works. GamerPay is a very unique site since it allows you to get 0% seller's fee on anything you sell. The only fees they take is on buying something and on depositing or taking out balance. That means you can get very low fees as long as you don't take in or out any money. At first, to start, you will of course have to deposit something or just sell an item that you already have. But once you get started, you don't actually have to take anything out or put anything in. You can just reuse the same balance, which allows very low fees and a high percentage profit for you. That's why we're using GamerPay. A lot of sites can be used for flipping, but since GamerPay has such low fees, it is one of the best ones to use for this. Once you've deposited and started flipping on GamerPay, you can then just reuse the same balance. Once something sells, you can rebuy something else, and once it grows, every time you profit it grows more until it becomes a large amount of money, which you can either then cash out or just buy some skins. Doing it this way means you rarely use any money because paying with balance is very easy and very cheap on GamerPay, and it will allow you to get a lot of profit. But is it even possible to make a profit doing this? Well, yes, it is. Easily, in fact. Remember that you pay 2.5% fees on buying and selling the item, so everything over 2.5% discount is a profit. Now let's go to the buy tab and see what profitable deals we can get. This is the main screen of GamerPay. Once you select buy and you have entered into the CSGO section, right there you will see best deals. You can press view all to go into this section, which will make it easy to see what's possible for us. Now at the top we will see some items that are 60% off, 50% off, 40% off. A lot of these items might seem great, but they usually aren't. That percentage is based on buff, so it will be a good deal compared to buff, but most of these items are not very liquid. For example, this is a Mag 7 Cinqueda, which says here is 307 bucks on GamerPay and 662 on buff, but that will most likely be listing price. Also, this is not just a rare Mag 7 that's already expensive on a gun that no one cares about, with a skin that's also not that great. It's only used for trade-ups basically. It's also well worn, which is really rare and also bad. You can see that the field tested one is listed for 372 and you can see that this is listed for 670, but trades usually are for 320 or even lower when it's supplied. So it's worth around 330 or 320 even, or less. And then you see the price, that's what it's priced around, so it's not actually that much profit. The same goes for expensive stickers that don't really have a lot of value anymore, because nobody wants to apply them anymore. They are really rare. That's why they're expensive. That's why you can have these high profits on them. But then, for example, you see a Dragonfire here. That is a good deal. I can see that right now because it's field tested, which is not a weird float. It's 14% off, which is decent. That's really great. And it's not way too much, because if it's way too much, like 62%, there's going to be something wrong there. And in this case, it's a souvenir. So yeah, that's totally wrong. Same goes for factory new. Some knives are really rare in factory new, or even StatTrack. A lot of these are also StatTrack because they're just really rare to get. But yeah, in this case, this Dragonfire is actually a good deal because it is $7.89, and on buff it's actually $9.28, which is, it says it's even cheaper, so it's even a better deal. It is recommended to always check on buff, and not just for listing price, because this is listing price. Also check what it regularly sells for. And if we check that, we can see, oh, even higher. It sells for 9.5 regularly. Sometimes. And sometimes it sells lower. So this is a great deal. What you could then do, right? Buy it for $7.89, there will be a small fee when paying, but the fees on your wallet are only 2.5%. That means the rest of the profit you make with an item like this goes to you directly. The way it shows me the prices already includes the wallet fee. So 2.5% it will cost you to pay from your wallet, right? So you will have to, the first time you start doing this, put money into your wallet, which will cost a bit extra because depositing balance does cost you more. But you can also pay by card, which will just take 70, like they do take an extra deposit fee plus 2.5%. So that is more if you deposit every time, but you shouldn't. Even if you were to deposit every time, you could still make a profit. You would have to do large deposits. But what I would recommend is just deposit like $10, $20, something like that for one time, and just, or maybe a bit more, like $50, and start flipping with that. And then never actually deposit or withdraw anything, just keep using the same balance, because it will only cost you 2.5%. And this item was, well, the game says it's 14%, right? 14%, but it's actually way better. It's actually like 17%. I just checked the price, it's way better. So sometimes you can get even better deals because the price is inaccurate. That's why I always suggest checking prices on items like this. Things are often changing. These will get sniped or bought. There's more right here. For example, this discotheque, most likely a good deal. Even something like this copper bore, it's less liquid, but it's still really doable. And knives are also possible, although this is StatTrack, so I wouldn't go for that. But you can just scroll further down, and 10% is still fine, remember? 10%, like, I don't know about well worn, but you could check this item out, and you could check it on buff, and if it's like actually 10% less than what it regularly sells for, you can also use different sites. Just don't use Steam. Use cash sites, because that will give you cash value, and buff is the most accurate. There's plenty of good deals. For example, this Mecha Industry is 8%. Even if it's just 8%, right, it means that you still get 5.5% profit if you just use your balance. And you can really quickly start making money on that. If you just started with $50, for example, you can regularly find these items. I've checked GamerPay a bunch, and you can regularly find these items quite cheap. A lot of them, a lot of different ones. If you check often in a day, you can easily find $50 worth of these items. Because this Dragonfire is already $10, and sometimes there's better, more expensive items. So let's say you make like 5% profit. You do have to deal with the trade cooldown, so there is 7 days, so you could do it once a week. But let's say it also takes you 1 week to sell for a good price. So that means every 2 weeks you could make 5% profit, right? On this money. While doing that once might say, okay, nice, I made like $2.5 profit, right? But you shouldn't be looking at it like that. A year has 52 weeks, right? So what could you do in 1 year? You get started with $50. This week will be, after 2 weeks, you will have your $50. We're counting items and balance and everything, right? Because everything is just the same. Essentially, times 1.05. Now, you might not find perfect items. You might take longer. You could also sell faster and make more profit. But this is a good baseline. You could tweak it also down or up, depending on what you want. But after the second week, you can start to see, like, you're making extra money. Because the money you made, the €2.5, will also start to make you money. You might not be able to find items that fill your balance, and if you have balance left over, you won't make money on it. But if you get the $60, you can surely find a skin worth $10, right? And you can make profit on that as well. So if you just drag this out for an entire year, all of a sudden you have $177. Now that is actually really impressive. But this is just 1 year, right? You could just do this for half an hour each day and make some money. And after that, you could have a really nice knife. If you put more effort into finding the right deals, you could make more money. If you sell your items quicker, you could even make even more money. There's endless possibilities here. And you can start with more money too. If you start with $100, it quickly grows to $355. And this is after fees. This means, well, if you wanted to cash this out, it would take a fee, but the fee would be about 2.5% if you cash want this. So you would still end up with around $340, which is insane. And this is 1 year, right? If you did that another year, you could go to $1,200. And there is a limit to scalability. You can't have infinite items, but this is a good way to begin growing your inventory. You can start with this, and once you get bigger, you can invest more, or you can get into bigger items, you can get into trading, you can do a lot more if you have a slightly bigger inventory. But $50, $100, or even $10, you could start with $10, and you would still grow up to $40, 36. But that is with just 5% profit, right? If you get better items at the beginning, you could definitely get better items. 14%. You could easily take away 10% of that profit if you just up it to like 8%, just 8%. You might say that might not make a big difference, but it does. You could go from 10 euros to 74 euros. In a couple years, you could go from 74 euros to 550 euros. And then in the third year, you would be at 4K, right? You can grow your inventory easily by just trading and flipping items. And there's multiple ways of doing this, but this is one very easy way to get started. If you really get serious about flipping items like this, or just selling on GamerPay in general, you can even get a premium account where you pay a certain amount per month to not pay any fees at all. That means if you flip more than a certain amount per month, that can even save you more money. If you're still watching, you are truly awesome. Thank you. Goodbye.